AORUS gaming monitors. Get tactical.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mandatory GG Ignition Series. Today is the day you've been waiting for all weekend. We've got our grand final. So as you've seen during these 2 days that we had extreme and amazing matches that have been coming up. You could see the bracket, and now we're at the end of it. So we have G2 Esports and Bonk having their grand finals in a couple minutes. G2 won versus BBL Esports, and NIP get taken out by Bonk. We'll see them in a bit with your favorite casters. As you've seen them all weekend as well on this channel, we had HYPERX, we had Pansy, and we had Demon as well. On the French casts, we had our favorite Zerato and Looted have been here as well with us during the whole competition. For everyone at home who speaks German, Polish, or Russian, you can see on the mandatory.gg website that we've got streams for you with partner streamers that will cast for you in your languages. So don't hesitate to go on the website. We also have a giveaway for you on Twitter. So go to mandatory.gg on Twitter. You can find a giveaway with skins to win in Valorant. So I reckon you want to check this out. In just a couple of minutes now, we're going to have our grand final, as I just said. But right before that, we've got an interview coming up for you that should be showing up on the screen. Hi. All right, so with us we have Jérôme Coupé, who's the CEO of Prodigy. So hey, nice to meet you.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you.
You all right? How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Really excited for the final.
Okay, I have a couple of questions for you, as you're actually, well, not the first, because we had Ocelot as well with us yesterday, but you're someone who's, you know, managing teams and players as well. So we'd have a few questions because, as you know, Valorant is quite a new game in the whole gaming and esports industry of things. So I wanted to know, how'd you get on with creating a team and, you know, finding the right profiles and the right player for your team?
I mean, I think that to build a successful team on Valorant, you can't just line 5 strong individual players. It needs to make sense. Role-wise, you need to have the chemistry within the team. And you also need players with leadership, a strong in-game leader, and so on. So I think the biggest challenge on Valorant is to find five players that are versatile enough to adapt to the meta, being able to play different agents and so on, because the game is really new and the game is changing a lot depending on new agents, maps, and so on. So that is the biggest challenge, I think.
Okay, so you don't go just kind of looking for whoever is in the top ladder. You need to find a bit more of like versatility and different kind of profiles then.
Yeah, that's exactly the point.
Okay.
You need some players that will be star players, fragging everyone, and you also need teams players that will be able to do the, let's say, the hard work, being the support player and so on. Yeah.
Okay, so do you feel like those types of tournaments like we have in the Ignition series are kind of useful in that sense, because you tend to see, you know, new faces and new people that are kind of shining?
Yeah, I think that Ignition series is really great for the scene because it's more focused on the competitive aspect of the players, while before it was mainly the influencers and so on. So it allows the teams and everyone to see new players, new faces, and being able to see them performing at their best. So I think it's really great. The format is great, and the viewership is growing and so on. So it's really great for Valorant and the players.
Okay. Do you think there's going to be more, like, out of this tournament? I've seen, you know, we've seen teams and players that, you know, have been showing their side that we didn't know before, that kind of came out of nowhere and took, you know, games and even like best of threes or best of ones that to teams that we would expect to win. Do you feel like it's something that is going to be seen a bit more in this Valorant scene in general? Or do you feel like, you know, it's a good way to kind of express themselves and maybe scout new players as well?
Now, I think that right now the level individually is really great on Valorant,
Okay.
right? But it's still very early for the teams and they can improve a lot. So I think that we can see a lot of new players, even players that we didn't knew before, basically, that will shine and that will be interesting for new teams, new lineups and so on.
Okay.
And I think the Ignition series and the next tournaments will be really interesting for that, because especially on the best of one on Valorant right now, we are seeing a lot of upset, and so we can discover a lot of new players.
Okay. You've mentioned new teams, and it's a perfect way for me to ask you something, because as your founder of Prodigy, you know, like the whole, you know, structure aspect of things. How would you explain why maybe like structures in Europe are a bit slow versus structures in the NA to kind of form teams and get into the competition?
I think that there are many factors to that. First of all, European organizations are always more cautious compared to the US-based one, but also in the US, it quickly became a competition, like a race between the organization to have the best players, the best teams, since the beginning. And they also had a lot of CSGO players switching to the game. That's not really the case in Europe, and many organizations are just waiting for the development of the game to go all in. They don't want to go too early, except some of them like G2 and NIP. But for me, there is also this aspect that many people don't really see, is that it's easier for a North American organization to recruit a stack of players from North America, right?
Yeah.
While on the other hand, if you are an European organization and you want to recruit, I don't know, a full French roster, right? It's really hard if you are not a French organization, because you will have a restrictive pool of talents. It means that you mainly need to find a French player in the future. You need to have a manager or coach that is French, and maybe organization, I don't know, is Swedish. So it's really hard. And for the marketing side, the target, the audience, the sponsors, it's really hard also.
So do you think it's a lot to do with also language barrier in a way?
Yeah, also, because if you have a full French roster and they are not speaking English so well, so it's really hard if you want to recruit, I don't know, the best Swedish player in 1 month, then it's really hard to have the team working together. So I think that's also why organizations are mainly looking to build an international roster instead of picking a 5-stack with a coach and a manager that is that are all the same nationalities. Except for a Swedish organization to recruit a Swedish roster, it makes sense. But not for all organizations.
Okay, all right, perfect. Well, I don't think I've got any more questions. I'm really glad to have had your opinion on that, because I'm sure, you know, you've kind of expanded things in ways that maybe we didn't see. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And enjoy the show, everyone.
Thank you, Jerome. Bye. See you. All right, so maybe, there will be more coming in Europe. As you can see, I'm pretty sure loads and loads of structures I've got to get into the game. And speaking of which, we're going to get right into the game right now. We've got your grand final that is going to be cast right here by HYPERX and Demon right now for the first game. And so here to you, G2 versus Bonk. First game is coming up right now.
Thank you very much, Alien. Great to hear from Jerome there. I'm Lee Demon Smith, and joining me is HYPERX for this one. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, Pansy will be here. She's just coming in on game 2, but she's parted all her knowledge onto us as well in her passing segment. So Mike, here we are. At the end of a long weekend.
Yeah. 2
finalists, G2 up against Bonk. I don't think a final that probably any would predict. Certainly G2.
Yeah, I'd say
half
of it. Yeah, you could have pegged G2 as being the one there, but we've definitely had some upsets along the way, Lee. That goes without saying. Bonk, personally for me, probably a bit of a surprise, even though they're a very talented team. It's not the one I would have picked to face G2 in the final, but here we are. Bonk have played phenomenally throughout. They put up some fantastic numbers against these other teams, and that series yesterday, they really pulled something out of the bag in the final game the final map after a bind. But yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be an interesting matchup, and obviously this is the one that Pitt wanted.
Absolutely, yeah, he called for it, right? Given his teammates or his former friends, I get he plays on scrims with and what, like Yassine, obviously we heard from him last night as well, talking about how his team have been really working to get to this level, to reach this level, and there was that added flavor that they took down NIP. If you didn't really know how the brackets fell, they took down NIP in the semifinals, which if you don't know the history of the two teams, then Bonkar and was it Yassine that was also in there? I think it was. They were both in NIP, right? They were actually formerly in the original NIP. They were one of the first organizations, in credit to NIP, to get there, but they kind of jumped the gun a little bit and then corrected their team a little bit. Obviously got in contact with Jerome and took some of the players from HYPERX and kind of merged them together with Looker and Ryan. But it was Bonkar that obviously went to the side, and he's got that added flavor that he's managed to one-up NIP, and now I guess he wants to see if his team can push it any further and be the first to really challenge G2.
Yeah, that's always the best storyline, to have a grudge match like that, right? It's a shame, really, that wasn't the grand finals, but it was the other half of the bracket. Indeed, you can see here taking that 2-1 victory over NIP yesterday, and G2 taking a clean 2-0 over BBL, which didn't seem easy. I'm not gonna lie. There were moments in that series, but G2 nonetheless keeping a strong best of 3 win ratio, I'll say. But yeah, overall G2 yesterday in their series, Haven was an interesting one to watch for me. David P really struggled. I know he put out a tweet literally seconds after the last round. But I think that's the part of that was due to he was getting punished for that kind of lurker role that he sometimes plays on Sage, kind of flexing out on defense. I think he was just punished time and time again by a really strong default setup from BBO. You can't take anything away from that. Again, I think he sees it as a poor performance, but maybe that's just the first time a team's actually countered that aggression from G2, which we don't often see at all. So definitely not pinning that all on him, but going on to Ascent was kind of the Mixwell show. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. He was absolutely dominant in mid on Ascent. He drew 7 first bloods. G2 in total had 12, so we had 7 out of the 12's team's first bloods, which is kind of insane when you think about it. But yeah, it was an interesting performance from G2 yesterday, because I think that's the first time, even though it was a 2-0, we've actually seen them tested. And Pat hit and miss games yesterday. Obviously, he did well in the one of the finals, but G2 is one of those teams that can sort of, if one person's down, like David said, he had a bad game, then the rest of the team are generally there to pick him up. But I do wonder what the worry might be if 2 or 3 of them are suddenly having a bad day, and whether everyone can carry it through. But that's something we can test in the future. As Carlos said, he's got full faith in his team to take on anyone in the world. For Bonk, this is a team you may not recognize. Obviously, Aaron, Bonkar's been around for a certainly long time. Ziz Yassine
Yasin did very well on the raise yesterday, hitting a lot of kills. Obviously, you can see 19 there. He had 27, I think it was, in the round before that as well. And Safe, of course, showed the Viper sign for him there. That's an interesting one because he was playing the operator for most of it.
Safe was actually terrifying. In certain situations yesterday, I mean, there was one point I remember him clutching back-to-back 1v3s, which is just insane when again, actually, when he flexed onto the Sage, he was still doing that. But here we have the matchup. I'm not sure what map this is from, but David P and Yasin, again, like you just said, 27 kills, the most kills he had yesterday. Average combat score of 281 versus David's 258. But I mean, one thing I really liked, the way that Bonk kind of enabled Yasin. He even said that in that interview yesterday, which, by the way, was one of the most wholesome interviews I've seen in a long time in esports. But he was literally saying it himself. His team were literally just feeding him information, enabling him to play that raise role so effectively. And I mean, he kind of just ran away with it on the second map, to be honest. Sorry, the third, but the final map.
And to have some comparative stats with them, obviously Mixwell and Yasin are kind of doing. Actually, they're not in the same role because Safe's more the operator.
Yeah.
I was thinking more the Jet because Mixwell, obviously G2 only did play the 2 games, but he had a 45 frags across. Whereas Yasin, yes, they played 3 maps, but he had 62 across those 3 maps. So he did very well for his team in terms of kills. Obviously, a lot of it was on that raise. But it's a different, they're very different lineups with the way that, especially for Bonk, for example, the way that they change their agents about rather freely in comparison to, say, G2 are very static. Obviously, they are pretty much, that's the set in stone 5 agents they're going to use.
Yeah, it wasn't. And again, it's something we've kind of come to expect now. And again, the only real variation we see is like when we go to split, we see artists on the raise, but the Twitter prediction up on
not too
screen.
surprising, that one. I don't think.
That was probably could have guessed.
Fans are there. Come on, Bonk.
I'm gonna say probably could have guessed the percentages to about be 90-10, but it's not a million miles off. But I definitely don't think this is going to be a stomp. I mean, predictions wise, you'd be a fool at this point to bet against G2, especially with the way they have played in a couple of series throughout the event this weekend. But I'm definitely hoping Bonk make it competitive. I mean, if we go to bind, we know G2 has avoided bind a little bit, and I think now maybe Bonk are going to start avoiding bind too. But yeah, I can't see any scenario where Bonk take this, but I'm hoping it's not a complete shutout. My biggest worry is, and you know, NIP had pushed G2 to 3 maps before back in the WePlay. I think it was the winner bracket finals, was it? I'm not too sure when they actually played each other, somewhere around there. Winner bracket semifinals or finals, but they were pushed to the 3 maps, and that gives me a glimmer of hope for the likes of Bonk, obviously, who did step it up yesterday. However, if you think of, say, the Haven game, it was a ding-dong. It was 1v1s, 2v2s, all the way, every round. I've never seen so many clutch rounds that had to be done back to back to back to back to back. It's just non-stop. We are going to be starting off Haven, so Bonk feeling that one. Ascent for G2. We saw David P with a proud stat pose yesterday about their Ascent play. Bonk? Selected bind. I was going to say, is that how 13-4 on bind, ladies and gentlemen? Yesterday's NIP. Is that how much they hate split, or I mean, they decided it's going to be Ascent. If we get there, that's obviously you've got to be banking that's favorable to G2. I'm surprised by the bind pick. Again, just talking back to the WePlay series you were talking about, it was actually bind that NIP beat G2 on as well. And again, thinking back further than that, in the Vitality Open, it was Fabricant that actually took a map off G2, and that was bind as well. So maybe Bonk is just thinking, yeah, we're not great on it, but they've lost that map before. Obviously, G2 have a fairly flawless record on the other maps.
And in terms of, if I'm not mistaken, hold on a minute. I mean, and then my records may be a little hazy. I'm going off various websites, but I'm pretty sure Bonk have only played 2 officials on bind. And one of them was yesterday where they lost 13-4. The other one was versus HYPERX, right?
I'm hoping they've maybe scrimmed a bit more than we have records.
That, but in terms of officials, I mean, scrims are scrims. Actual tournament games are tournament games. They're very different. Does impress me. But anyway, we're going to be starting things off on Haven. We'll see. Well, we will be getting there because obviously we're going to be playing out the 3 maps regardless. The question is, we'll see Split as the fourth map, whether we'll reach that far. I'm not going to ask your prediction, Mike, because I'm pretty sure I know which way it's going to go. And I think it's what most people that you can see from the poll are expecting.
Yeah.
What are the potential weaknesses is what I want to go with. What would Bonk be looking at this and thinking, how can we exploit a weakness in G2?
I still think the only real way to counter this G2 playstyle we've seen in the last few events is having really, really tight and fast executions. I think, again, I said this about the Dream Chasers series. I hoped they weren't going to play this deathmatch with G2 or allow, I mentioned it earlier, David P kind of got shut down on that kind of lurker, kind of fragger, sage role, which we've seen G2 do early for information in most defensive halves that we've seen them play. I'm hoping Bonk have, some really, really good executes set up for these maps, because I honestly feel like we haven't seen a team actually just all out go for that against G2. Obviously, G2 gamble a lot in terms of stacking sites, and I was talking yesterday about Haven in particular, the way they rotate pit off a site to set up for these pushes. I absolutely love it. Again, it's something really, really simple. Whether or not there's any kind of catalyst to that or something, they haven't gone A in a couple of rounds. They're set up for this A counter. But I think that there is possibly the chink in the armor. That's kind of something Bonk need to use as an opportunity to get those must-win rounds in terms of economy. So I'm hoping they have a playbook we haven't seen yet. I'm
just wondering how on Haven, I assume if it's most likely going to be a defensive start for Bonk, right? If they didn't choose the map, then generally everyone kind of favors the defensive side first. I think
Bonk picked Haven, right? G2 Ascent second pick, I think.
Oh yes, you're right. You're right. So actually,
they will be attacking.
Yeah, we approach every game the same. We take it serious and try our best. Well, absolutely, that is what the G2 boys will be doing. It's the final, after all. And, when Carlos has literally said you can beat all the NA teams, no problem, puts a little bit of pressure on you. But you know what? Carlos is always like that with his teams. He loves to support them even when they get 3-0 rolled in a final.
Yeah, and I think the important thing from yesterday is once Mixwell got warmed up, we saw what everybody knows what he's capable of, but there's only been a couple of times in series where we've seen Mixwell really hit that 25 plus kill marker. And at the point where he doesn't need David P in mid with him to wall him up or something like that, and he's still picking up 4 operator kills on the round, that's when Mixwell's feeling it. And that the rest of the team is kind of just happy to sit back and say, look, get mid control. If they keep challenging you, they keep challenging you because they know he's going to win that.
Just want to point out that is Salah, the coach of Bonk, by the way, the quote there, not Mohamed Salah, the Liverpool forward. He's not just giving his 10 cents on the Valorant finals. I'd love to think he is, but I don't think he is. A lot of them mainly all Fortnite players, aren't they, anyway? So we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. No.
So going forward, obviously, Salah just said there, basically, we don't look at them as G2. We never looked at them as NIP. We looked at them as the team, and this is how we're going to beat them. They didn't look at the fear factor effectively. And we were talking about kind of the mind games that it can play with. And are we at that stage yet? Obviously, G2 have been dominant, but are we at that stage yet? Everyone's like, oh my God, it's G2. Or are we like, we can beat them. We're confident.
Look, there's a couple of things you need to be aware of, but I think the point at which you allow your opponent to start dictating your play style is kind of when you're starting on the back foot. If you constantly have that, one of the things I pointed out yesterday, Bonk's hesitation on bind was something that was so weird to see, considering the way they played in the first map.
They did the same on Ascent as well, right?
Yeah,
they were very hesitant on the attack.
I actually counted. I've got it in the notes here that there was actually 7 rounds in total that the clock just ran down for Bonk, which for me is kind of crazy. Even if you lose first blood, I don't think that should ever happen. But regardless, I think at the point where you start saying we can't go mid because Mixwell's there with an operator, you literally kind of setting yourself up for failure in terms of you're limiting your playbook. If you've got a strat that literally revolves around, Ascent, we need to get market control and obviously split B site. The fact that you're saying before the round even starts, well, we can't do that because Mixwell's there, you're literally shooting yourself in the foot. So I don't ever think a team should be countering their own, you know, strategies and play styles based on the opponent they have. I like the fact they're saying we approach it as the same as every other team. We have our game plan, we stick to it.
And from obviously G2's point of view, we did hear from Pitt yesterday, and we kind of pointed out they kind of forgot the bomb a few times yesterday, the spike, I should say. They've kind of forgot it a couple of times. I was using his own words there, but he said, yeah, my teammates are placing it in stupid positions, so I'm having to go and find it.
I mean, I actually, when I called that out on cast, I actually felt bad because I was like, the people who are actually dying, I mean, and I feel bad for Pitt because, I mean, he even said it himself. He's in that lurker role, especially on attack. He's got to run across the map if somebody dies to come and retrieve the spike. And we saw that weird scenario where it was like it took him so long that the initial dark cover that was covering defensive spawn had faded. And then they went to push out of B main anyway. And it's like, well, what do you expect me to do? I'm just running out here. Like, the last man out, you guys have got site control. So I'm glad he kind of picked up on the same thing. And they've said, yeah, we know about it. But that's such a simple fix. It's literally such a simple fix. And maybe it's a miscommunication. I don't know, but I don't want to see any of that from G2. That's the kind of thing that, you know, eventually it's going to bite them in the ass.
So the pistol round getting underway. They're already stacked up. Quickly give the agent run through. It's going to be Patatek and Omen, Cypher for Pitt. It's going to be Ardis on Sova, Sage for David P, and Mixwell for Jet. That would be, of course, on the G2 side, as Ardis actually has gone around the back side of them. Pitt's already seen Yasin coming along, and this has already started things off. Now, there is actually someone coming around the back, which is why Ardis has backed away here. For Bonk, it will be Bonkar will be playing this over, so it'll be Bonkar that's actually trying to get the wraparound and see what's going on here. Pitt's going to spot Safe, who is playing as the Phoenix again in this game. So he tends to rotate between the Phoenix and the Sage as well as the operator player. First time we've seen it certainly in Europe a lot with an operator Phoenix player. I'm not too sure how I feel about it still. Aaron's on Cypher, Ziz on Omen, and I guess it's Yasin that will probably be playing on Jet.
Yeah, and Spike's made it all the way down to Suez, but Pitt's actually pushed out behind them, so Safe. Again, you can see he's going to put the trap wire down there as well, so that leaves Safe kind of stuck down here. Actually, he's going to come up. He's going to find David P from short. The spy cam still actually tucked away behind him, so all the information is going to get fed over to Pitt, and now this G2 rotation is going to come out. But I mean, Bonk still haven't really got any ground on the site. 13 seconds left again, and I mean, Aaron's going to find Pitt, but
okay.
I mean,
well, they're going to get the spike down.
Yeah, 7 seconds left on the clock. Again, it's just a tight one, and Ardis going to send up the recon bolt. This should give away the information. Mixwell finds the entry and the second.
Didn't care about the recon bolt, just went in and took them both down. All right, 2 headshots. I mean, most of the damage was done, and this is something we need to keep a track of throughout the game. You guys obviously watching the stream, keep your eye on the first bloods, because they do make quite a big difference in certainly a 5v5, especially when something like Haven, the map is so spread wide. If there is an initial first blood going in there, it can cause a lot of problems. So look at this, though. It's a force coming through because they got the plant down. Despite the fact they only got the 2 kills, they are forced into the Spectres. This is an interesting one. The Stingers as well stacked out. Only half armor throughout, so this may catch G2 off guard.
Yeah, and just to come back to that quickly, G2 pushing out, and in the first round here, we're talking about Bonk running the clock down. And I mean, in that scenario there, it's pistol round. G2 have pushed people out all over the map, and I mean, it's actually Ardis that finds the second kill elsewhere, but I'm hoping we don't see more of that, as we're going to see a long push coming out here, and the dark cover's down, but a lot of damage going through it. You're seeing gonna dash through. Pitt will find him. So not really getting any entry right now, and 3 G2 players over here to defend it.
Good backup cover there, but they have got the B site control at the moment, so they've also pushed it a little bit on double doors. Mixwell finds himself face to face with the Spectre around the corner. So the Cypher player, which is Aaron, in on B site, and they really could do with getting the bike this way. I think he wants to go for the wraparound on C. They're still insisting on sticking at C, and he will be. He's going to come around the back of them. So they've put this really weird split between the team at the moment. David P's pushed up a long way down A short. Mixwell's all the way back in spawn, waiting to see which way he's got to go, but it is going to be a C-site explosion as Pat tries to hold it up, gets the spray down. Ardis actually picks off Aaron. That was the backstab maneuver. So with that gone, the dark cover goes back through. Paranoia down, nothing a lot there. But Safe is so low on health right now that Pat keeps getting the little pick here and there. Can't manage to take him down.
20 seconds left on the clock, Lee. And they're still here in the same spot with the spike. We've got alert coming in from B. Dark cover going to come off the defensive spawn. But, I mean, if you're going to force up here, you want to be decisive. You want to be making moves. I mean, now... Yeah.
It's just went aggressive, just straight up. You know what? Next dark cover that go down. I'm done with this. 5 seconds on the clock. Nothing's going to happen. And again, Ziz, no man's land. So that, okay. I want to talk about this from an IGL point of view. You were a former IGL a long time ago.
Many moons
thrown under the bubble. It was a force. They had B control. Why would they not wrap back from C? They had chance. Dark cover was down. There was easy chance to wrap back around to B.
I wish I had an answer for you. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about there. If you're going to force up in round 2, again, with the SMGs, you need to get up close and personal. You need to get an entry into sight. And again, Yassine's done his job effectively, even by dashing in there, banking on one person. I feel like somebody should have been there for the follow-up, because the only thing that happened for the next minute and 10 seconds was they sat behind a dark cover. I really don't understand it.
Well, maybe leading off the previous round thinking, okay, B was pretty free. That looked like the location they want to bring the spike, but they are getting surrounded. They're covering off David P at double doors as well, too, trying to block that one out as Pat tries to get the spray through. Mixwell now with Ardis, both coming from A-Link as well. Aaron was going to find one. Mixwell does manage to get the reply. That's Ziz being picked off. Safe on site still at the B site, and the spike actually being moved. It's going back over to A site, so Bonk are moving it around there. Safe's going to be the distractor on B site.
Yeah, and Safe going to find Pat coming through from C-Link, but Spike's still not moving here. And again, Cypher's utility still set up on A site, so the information is going to go over if they have to destroy that. But now they've got this kill. Mixwell and Ardis are thinking, well, there's nobody else here, so you got to assume this is about to happen. And actually, there you go. Tripwire. Yeah, that's going to pop, but that's going to give the information over there. So now G2 going to look to retake.
Going to become leaping through. Look for the arrows from Ardis. See if he can set something up, give the information. One's going to sit passive. Oh, but Aaron needed to win that duel out. And now it's almost certain they're going to push him down. Bonka will get the one with the frenzy, but that's all it's going to be. And while they did get the spike plant in, it was... it's a decent round, right? I mean, I think they're mainly on pistols, so you know that's not what they could,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
It kind of skews G2's whole bonus round ethic of, you know, you're taking the SMGs through to round 3 and then you get your rifles. Didn't really benefit them much, but their economy is still golden.
Yeah, I mean, they kept hold of Ardis's Phantom, so that's obviously going to come back into play. And it's looking like, well, actually, Pitt, David, and Pat do have to force up, and Mixwell going to upgrade to the operator. So, again, not a massive issue in terms of G2, but it's more the fact that Bonk get themselves that extra cash flow to get full armor and stuff buying back into round 4. So we'll see what they can do this time around with some better weaponry.
Yassine considering a little pick, and he was wise not to. Mixwell and Ardis were both sat waiting for someone to peek out that window. Safe, going to go up close on the wall and see if he can draw any attention, but it is a standard default strat this time. Seeing if there's any aggression, and Mixwell went looking and found the head there. Safe. Nice work.
Joke's over.
Oh, that's actually a really nice pick there, and going to pop the run it back, yeah, and try and find an entry here. David P in a cheeky spot behind the wall when he's actually not been spotted at all. David P has played this perfectly. He has played this perfectly.
So they've no clue. They've run in. They've took one down. So they'll be saying, "Yeah, C is clear, guys. I've took you down." C. Well, we'll see. Is he going to go through double doors? No, it's going to back it away. It is going to be a B. The mind games coming out from Bonka. I mean, yeah, they're 3-0 down. This could be their first big round, though.
That was actually a lovely fake. A really, really lovely fake. The dark cover comes out. Obviously, Safe throws up his blaze as well. You can see the spy cam going to get a little bit of information over there, but Pitt will find Bonka regardless. Again, a lot of time being eaten up here, so I'm assuming they're just... I mean, David P's still on C long. Pitt now, as you can see, walking down towards sewer. So they're just going to try and hold on to these Phantoms, because I think if I remember correctly, there was 3 players that had fallen under 1,000 credits, so... keeping these 2 weapons is going to be huge for G2 in the next one, but Bonk will put their first round on the board here. with a nice fake on C site and the spike getting planted on B. I mean, that's the sort of thing. Well, I'm hoping Yassine didn't lose an expensive gun.
Not too
I mean,
sure.
yeah, well,
Guess
yeah,
they're
he's
going
still
to
got 2,400. Yeah,
It was his bought for him, that's why.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it still hurts the economy in that perspective. And Aaron buys for Bonk. So, they will be back on the Phantoms, a full Phantom stack. It's always interesting, you know, seeing how the players favor the Phantom or the Vandal. But actually, we saw a Bulldog, I think, just coming in there for G2. So, somebody is hurting for cash. Of course, Artist on the operator. He's
they got the
feeling
double up set up now.
I think gained on either long and actually two snuck the way into short. Doesn't mean too much just yet, but I mean they've come through. Where's the Hunter's Fury going? That's going to be the operator miss. That's Artist, and look at this, they're both up on short already. They've snuck right in there. Pitt's still hanging right up close, and he's going to find Aaron. That's going to stop it dead because Safer's still yet to get past with the spike. Now they realize there's somebody around here. They turn around, but it's too late. Artist's been stabbed in the back, but Pitt gets himself a collateral. Lines up both Yassine and Ziz as they go for the double peak, and that's going to stop this round dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough there. The information should have come across when they hear the operator. Again, a bit of a fake and bait there. Artist shooting the operator through the cybercage, and then Pitt swings through. But Mixwell actually going to get pressured off Heaven here. Bonk still trying to look their way in. David P already on the flank as well. There you go. The kill's going to go in favor of G. Oh, actually, no, in favor of Bonk initially, but Safe, the last one up now in a 1v2 situation. Definitely winnable, and he's onto the... Okay. As I say, he's onto the flank. David P obviously had to destroy the trap wire coming in from Garden there. But G2 recover well.
And they recover both operators as well, which is the main thing, so their economy is still pretty safe at the moment. I think it was Pat that actually had to go on to the Bulldog in the previous round. Looks like it's going to be a drop for him this time. A Vandal down, and of course for Bonk, well, it's most likely just a safe round. I didn't quite catch a glimpse. I didn't see any weapons coming through unless they've grabbed him in the last, but you never know. Let's see if it's going to be a quick pistol rush somewhere. Maybe catch someone out. Mixwell looks like he's going to go for the easy pick. Doesn't work, has to back away. They might just keep pushing it, and they are. They're right on his back, and it's going to be Yassine with the Blade Storm straight in. They hear it coming, though. Pat's already backing away, ready and waiting for the Blade Storm to come around the corner. The Aldrone's going to force the attention. He's going to get backed up, and there's another Blade Storm in the back. And now it's all on David P, trying to hold the site down. Pushes around, gets himself one. But that's going to be a triple for Yassine, and the spike plant should come in.
This is what I mean. This aggression. I mean, if Yassine's hitting shots like that, why aren't they utilizing that on the buy rounds? I mean, this is a save round for them, and just a really, really clean push through there. Love the synergy of the owl drone. Yassine immediately follows up on the tag as well to pick up Pat before he can escape into B site. And now it's all on Pitt to just do some damage to Bonk. He will find Aaron down in mid underneath window. So that Cypher lurk, not going to get any value right now, but Spike is planted for long. You can see the double stack down there in Cubby. But yeah, just going to look to save the weapon here. Pitt's taken one off the board. And I'm guessing the other two have upgraded. Yeah, you can see a Phantom for Ziz. Yassine only managing to find a Spectre though, but wow. I mean, what a round.
There's two operators on the board if they could have found them, so certainly interesting. Still Yassine sticking with the Spectre. Now he's going to try and get himself a Phantom away. So just the double Phantoms, and Pitt did manage to steal one of the operators away, so that's going to be passed back over to Mixwell. Not a lot he could do about that. The chase, the tailwind into a tailwind. It's like trying to escape as best they could, but well played. Yassine gets an important second round. Now let's see if they can build on that with the attack and keep the pressure on. It is going to be a long peak down A, but we can see...
This is the thing I was talking about. Look at the rotation of Pitt here. He's playing C-Link now.
Yeah.
His utilities invested. G2 stacks 3 over towards A. They're looking for this early information. They're going to tuck Artist in sandbags if they don't find it, and then they rotate off. I absolutely love this play from G2. We've seen it a couple of times now.
Aldrone will give away the information. Sees the one, knows he's sat waiting, and the slow play from Bonk. Well, it keeps him safe for now. Pat already rotating over to C though. Gonna throw down the dark cover and One over to AORUS. Wait, is that going to buy time for it? Is Artis going to push? He's playing with the cloudburst at the moment. Artis sitting in the dark cover. He's just going to try and shock dart his way through, but they're all boosted, so that won't have any effect. And it's going to be mid in the end, through to B, which is open. Well read by Bonk so far.
Yeah, Spycam's still set up above the door, and you can see Pitt's got himself tucked on logs on C site, helping Pat out. David P holding close on the double doors, but they're just going to walk in here. Trap wire gets destroyed, and there you go. The information is going to go over to G2 now. That's probably looking like a B hit. And the Hunter's Fury going to get invested as well. I don't think he initially found a tag there, but he finds a double tag, actually. Not going to get a kill for it.
Mixwell's going to go for the peek, and he will find safe down. That's going to get instantly re-peeked, and Ziz will count him down. Now, Artis is going to be coming from the same spot from connector. Double door for Judge. Don't forget, keep your eye on the kill feed for that one. David P over there as Pitt goes looking. He gets picked off. Pat Attack's been taken down as well, and now it's all on Artis. And David P. David P only had a Judge. He's going to see if he can pick up a better weapon. And looks like Artis has already just rescued the op. He's sat in a position to take it. I think this is going to be a simple save.
Yeah, David maybe just looking to do some damage on the way out. But I don't think Bonk are going to give him anything here. Again, really, really nice execute from Bonk. And zero hesitation. They react based on the information they get. David P is actually going to fall to the spike. Not sure why, because he managed to retrieve himself a Phantom. Maybe just couldn't get away quick enough, but again, a really, really confident push from Bonk there, and it pays off for them. Maybe this is what they needed to do. They just needed to get a couple of executes down cleanly, and they're going to hit some momentum here.
What G2 are going to do with this? I'm going to say they rescued the op, but they haven't got anything else. I wonder if they're going to stack behind it and maybe try and rescue another weapon. I assume Mixwell's been given the op. Looks like Pat wants to go aggressive, and this, well, we'll see how it works for him. He's got Paranoia ready to go. If he pops a Paranoia, but spotted out. Mixwell is there, they're with him. Satellite's Artis with the operator. That's took it in the corner. Yasin, Paranoia comes down and he just sprays it out, but safe flames will find Pat. No way you can sneak around when there's a Phoenix on the map.
And now you can see Bonk looking to go back towards the spawn. David P actually going to invest the wall to boost Artis up. You can see on the minimap it's actually broken, so I think he manages to jump off logs and get back up. But Pitt got himself tucked into sewers now. Spycam gets destroyed, and you can see that information being relayed. G2 are going to come over and back him up here on A site. Mixwell with a bucky in hand. But David tucked up close there. Safe going to find him immediately, and Mixwell will fall as well. But Pitt finds two.
It's just to get the recovery, but he is the last man standing. And still the spike not planted, so he actually has the site covered off, but look what's coming behind him.
Yeah.
He sensed it, doesn't matter. Yasin finds it, and they're going to get the operator away, and it's all square 4 apiece. They're even going to try and rush the spike plant down, get that bonus. Not going to happen. Wow. Okay, we got a game on our hands.
Yeah. This is, I guess the bind performance is lingering in my head. But this is the Bonk we saw on Ascent yesterday, to be honest with you. They're looking decisive, they're playing confidently. I'm really liking what I see so far.
I just wonder if the slow play that Bonk have been executing throughout it is almost somewhat frustrating G2, because they're a team that likes to be on with it, get it done. And obviously looking for those opening picks. And I talked about it right at the start. Look for how many first bloods come through. And at the moment, they've kind of been starved of those first bloods, G2 at the moment. Our drones going looking through B. And as of yet, the tactical prowess of Bonk and his team have been working out. So Salah's clearly been working overnight to get this going, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. 4-4, good start.
Yeah, and again, a lot of A presence here. No real commitment down long or sewers. You can see Pitt's got his setup here, and Mixwell already coming back over with the operator to maybe read into this. See, actually a heavy stack now. 4 players with the lurk outside double doors here to try and cut off the rotation. Dark cover going to cover mid. And actually Safe going to run it back all the way up A long here. I'm not going to find anything on site here, so G2 happy to play retake here. Let's see what they can get done.
spike plant comes in. Pit sits and waits for the dark cover. Saw the information of one. Tries to get the tag on Ziz. Can't quite finish with the frag though. And the cloudburst will go back up top. Bonk holding a really tight, close angle with the operator though. There's cover from short as well, and it does look like G2 are going to be forced to all come from the same direction, which is less than ideal, especially when the flashes come from Safe. Mixwell though, and Pat comes through, breaking on through. Ardis gets Ziz down as well, and Safe's going to do a lot of work. Took down on short. He's not got any support left arriving. He's just going to hold the defuse, and Safe will go down. What a retake from G2, winning all the aim battles.
You will not kill my allies.
Absolutely right. They literally just won every single challenge they took there. The recon bolt giving away a lot of information. It was actually a curveball to counter the push out there. I like that utility usage from Safe. As soon as they get pinged on the recon bolt, he throws the curveball out. It means that they can't immediately die, but I mean, it doesn't end up mattering in the end. G2 just absolutely gunned them down.
I wonder if any of their teammates got flashed. That's what I wonder. When the curveball goes through, it's always one of those things, right? That if they weren't quite ready for it, the counter comes in. Does look like it's going to be a C push this time. Ardis is there with the operator along with Pat. So actually, Pat's got the operator. Wait, have they traded? It's interesting to see whether they've switched it up. They're going to get the shot. Misses on Safe actually, and Safe gets the crossover, but now he's kind of trapped in that corner. Pat's going to back away. And there goes the recon bolt back and forward, and immediate shock darts going on towards him. Ardis actually the target for the Hunter's Fury, not really catching on anyone, but they're just going to rush through and back it up. Didn't catch and connect, which is what they were looking for. Now they're actually tucked in that cubby in a really awkward spot.
Yeah, the Aldrone going to give this information as well. But Spike's made it back towards mid here, and you can see Ziz. He put his dark cover over here a short while ago, and he's going to come back and check it out. But again, these two players, I mean, yeah, Safe manages to make it out of cubby now, but Yassine still stuck there. And this, I mean, this presence here on C-Long is keeping Mixwell and Ardis and Pat, to be fair. David P flexes out, Ziz will find him. But I mean, it's keeping Ardis and Mixwell occupied.
So with David down, double doors open, they decide, let's wrap back to C. Pat's actually rotated off, so he's gone over to A site, and Mixwell has come over with the op. Sit and wait the time. 12 seconds. They've not got any time. They've got to get the plant. If they've got time to run down long and get the spike in, I'm not too sure. They've got to make it work. They had to get Ardis down. He just had to delay him, and the spike is going to be down at the last second. They run the clock down all the way to 0.3, I think it was there. And this has just been their style, but it's worked. They've got the site, they've got the plan, and they get the round.
I mean, I'd be interested to know if that's intentional, knowing the way G2 play. Based on the information that they're feeding to G2, they're saying, we know they're going to over-rotate here. We know they won't commit 3 people to hold and C if we don't end up pushing in. Because I think you're absolutely right. In this scenario, it's paying off really, really well for them. But I mean, I hate to beat a dead horse, but Bind yesterday, their hesitation was their downfall.
Pat. Surprise. Oh, he lands it. Gets Yassine. They're trying to hunt down those weapons. Don't really have a great economy to chase it, Bonk. Yeah, they're just gonna group up on Huddle. They don't have the economy to chase either way. 5-5 all square. Very similar to the NIP game yesterday in the semi-finals, where they went the distance back and forth, and it breaks both economies if they keep trading these rounds back and forth.
Yeah, again, invested into the double, and again, they saved both of them from it, so they're just going to have to buy up the Phantoms in replacement, but G2 again leaning heavily on the double operator setup. Nice little one-way there. We'll see long. Recon Bolt going to go through, but the Cloudburst is going to block everything. Ziz actually catching a wallbang there. He's lucky not to lose his life there. Yassine dashes down. Ardis and Mixwell will fall to him. Bladestorm gets popped immediately. Neural Theft to come out. Yassine finds his third, and this is...
You asked for it. You asked for that Bladestorm in the weapon round, and he delivers it.
It's insane.
Hot hands down. Pat locked off from sight. I mean, while the flames obviously don't physically prevent you, they're going to burn you if you try and push on through, and it puts you a block of wall of vision. And now Pat's going to try and creep above, but this is looking like a 6th round done and dusted for Bonk. Bonk himself has actually gone around the wall. He actually went around C long. Yassine looking, hunting for the ace. Taken away from him, but it's a flawless round going into the final half. And Bonk, they're looking great so far. We could be seeing a 7-5 here. It is going to be force and we'll get what you can. Artist, not ideal on a Spectre. David P will be able to buy straight into it. He's actually going to force it to get the op and pass it off.
Yeah, Bonk looking really good. I'm surprised actually at how effectively they're switching the pace up round by round. I mean, you said it earlier. I think in certain scenarios, it's just catching G2 off guard. And they don't really know how to react to this kind of, I guess, versatility to the playstyle.
It's a really awkward spot to throw the spike in. The left side of C. Yeah, there we go. Now he's moved it back. The left side of C long. I was like, I'm not sure on that one, but they've recovered. But look at this. Mixwell's going aggressive. Coming around the side. Are they expecting him? Yes, they are. Yassine has been on point, just as he was in the semi-finals and throughout the tournament. Absolutely delivering here in the final. Pitt's pushed up close, though. Pushed in tight. That's going to draw the attention. The cloudburst goes down. He's not going to push any further. He does have Artist with him. They've gone very aggressive on this one. And look at this. Pat's even pushed up C long. Look at the net closing in from G2.
Yeah. I mean, this is insane. Artist gets himself all the way inside A lobby. And again, now, this is something I talked about yesterday. They get the information. Even if Artist falls here, they get the information so early that the rotation time isn't an issue. But Spike going to make his way over towards B. David holding ready with the operator. Didn't catch him there, but Pitt actually spams through the dark cover and finds the headshot.
Gets the backup we needed. Hunter's Fury comes through from Artist and finds Ziz down. We saw that the other day. And would you believe it? G2 pick up the round. We're all square into the half. 6-6.
Yeah, really impressive stuff from Bonk so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm hoping we don't have as scrappy a defense as we saw on Haven yesterday, even though it was fantastic to watch. We talked about how many times it came down to a post-plant clutch or a 1v1. I think that maybe plays into the hands of G2 a little more today, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far, Lee.
Well, the pistol can be huge. We saw Bonk picking a lot of pistols up against NIP, and it carried them through, especially on Ascent. Let's see if they can do similar here. It's going to be an aggressive action on A long that won't net themselves anything yet. Pitt's sitting deep at the moment. Just around the corner, pops that camera down, and you can see it immediately gets the dart in Bonk, so he's going to have to rotate off it. Knowing full well they saw the two there, so they're realizing, okay, C must be weak, and they're just going to push fast into C long here. Mixwell dives straight in. Ziz catches him off. The second they try and push it, Yassine peeks back around. He's got that frenzy ready to go, but David P trying to lock around the shot belt straight in the face of Ziz. The peek comes out from David P. It's not going to quite land and connect, but Yassine down. That will be the sight. The spike goes down.
Cover going
Again, I love the discipline from G2 there. Just keep your scene occupied as long as possible, and Pat's able to just completely overwhelm him there. Safe actually going to find the hot hand skill onto Pat. Now burst out.
He's going for the peek. Doesn't quite work this first time. Safe gets him down, and again, headshot on Pitt, and Bonk will pick up the pistol.
We saw Safe pull off a couple of clutches yesterday, but that was a little special, Lee.
It's just...
I love the confidence there. He just swings out.
I love it. Okay. Well, G2 now know they have a game on their hands. I'm sure Pitt would have been telling them. Pitt, by the way, rocking the top of the board. 14 kills. He did very well the first half. Let's see if he can continue that. But at the moment, it is going to be the weapons. No force action coming out from G2, of course. They did get the spike plant down, but they're going for the simple save and roll on through to the third round rifle. And again, we're going to see some aggression on A long. Oh, that shock bolt didn't quite get through.
I was going to say, that looked like it was going to do loads of damage, but actually, actually didn't, unfortunately.
I think he hit the doorway.
Yeah. A double stack on A, though, here, so they're well equipped to deal with this. Oh! Actually, Pat is it?
Pat actually forced into this. Okay, so they are coming in with Spectres. I didn't see them picking up the Spectres, but they have managed to get it down. Mixwell will take Bonk down, and that is going to be the spike planted with ease. The retake is going to be very hard from this position. The dark cover down. I'm not even sure they're going to go for it. The Bulldog's ready. They have to look for it. Going through the slope, have to back away. The recon bot catching him out as well. Artist doing the work. David P going to cover the back side as well. He's rotated it all the way up A and got the window covered. So if they even try and back away from this one, he's actually going for the full wrap around here. Look at this, Mike. He's going for it.
Battle Sage activated. The Paranoia are going to go through graffiti here, but I'm not sure I agree with the retake still. This is way too long and maybe just looking to do some damage to the economy here. I'd be curious to see if Bonk can buy up 2 weapons to make the next one maybe just a force. But if David P is able to punish anyone, it's definitely not going to be the case. You're seen in here trying to ninja defuse things. Or maybe just drawing somebody back to die to the spike.
Pit was the only one back there. If he'd have got that, he may well have been able to get it because he was already halfway.
I mean, Pit dies as well, so again, that takes a weapon off the board. Well, at least they have to buy one back for him. Let's see. So, yeah, Bonk are going to force back into this. We've got... Well, force him back in with armors. So they're going to try and just support the SMG they have on the board, I guess. Because obviously... They've got the money to do so and then buy back into the next round, but if your team would have got that, it would have been so cheeky.
I mean, thinking back, Safe must be fuming. He got a great little flash on them all, but Pat still took him down. It's just, I know I've talked about that before. The problem with the flash is you are aimed at that corner already, so as soon as the flash comes out, everyone just fires, but they're going to rush on straight through on this one. Push on through into the dark cover, try and spam as much as they can. Yassine tucked in with the Sheriff. It's not going to work out. Now, Safe has pushed up heavily on A. Got himself tucked in the corner, but this is going to be a B play. Or is it? They're going over A. They're going into Safe.
Yeah, and I mean, Safe, if they don't clear this, you should be able to get... No, Pat's going to clear it immediately.
No, he isn't. He gets the one down, but it gives the information. He saw them all come into the rotate. It's got to come through, but David P has caused some problems. He was actually in B site there, put the wall down. Bonkar's got around the back of them, so he should be cleared out by Bonkar in a second. David's not really looking that way, but the spike plant will go down. It's going to be a weapon taken away. And now let's see what they can do in a 4v3 retake.
Here.
I mean... The post-plant setup here from G2. Pit's way off on an island. He might actually go for the full flank through B-Link here. And maybe Mixwell just going to try and stall time for Pit to do something. But he's actually going to get contact from 3 people through Archway there. And here's this lurk. Pit's managed to get close enough already. Ziz will find Ardis, but they're not going to expect this at all.
He waits. The experience gets the one. Can't get the spike diffuser. That's what he was looking for. And it will be in the last gasp a defuse for Bonk. And they will get that round on the board. Oh, Mike, we are going the whole way back and forward, I feel. This one has got legs.
If you just look at the last 3 round counts, that's pretty much what the series yesterday against NIP looked like. It was literally round for round every single time, coming down to clutches, post-plant situations. I mean, Bonk are massively impressing me right now. Really, really impressive. Again, they're staying cool under pressure. They're not letting on their attacking half, they didn't let the G2 kind of play style get the better of them, which a lot of teams do.
Joke's over.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing.
Back, where's that going? It's actually pushed down long, so he's going to find Ardis. Ardis should be able to finish him off with the run it back there, and he will. Actually, I think it timed out before he saw him, so I don't know whether he saw it, but they've managed to rush in on A side. Bonkart going down. Will get vision with the owl drone. He should be able to see one. Should be able to get the wall bang. Doesn't quite work for him. Doesn't have the power of the spray with that Bulldog, but he's just going to go for it again. He still can't get Pit down.
Pit's lucky to escape with his life there, to be honest with you. The heal comes in from David P, but 5v5 here.
Look at Ardis on the wrap around as well. He's coming. It's going to be a slow push, so they've managed to dark cover off short. Paranoid goes across. That caught Mixwell. But Yassine gets down, and it's a double push down that's working out for them. They still haven't yet to clear sight, though, and suddenly David P delivers, gets himself the triple, and Mixwell goes for the Bladestorm finish. And it's going to be G2 that pick up the 8th round. 8-8. We continue.
Yeah, just 1 for 1. Let's just trade him back and forward right now.
There's nothing, though, this time that Bonkar can do. They are, I keep saying Bonkar, they used to be known as Team Bonkar, but obviously they're Bonk. Yeah, it's going to be a full pistol this time. There's no way they can force anything from this one. However, the amount of thrifties I've seen throughout this tournament, I would not discount it.
It doesn't look, I mean, they're going to stack heavy towards A here. Blade Storm is
Shot darts. Mixwell caught heavy. And now Yassine's going to sneak up. 3 of them have already gone left, but oh, there's one onto the right. Does manage to catch the headshot. Sees Pit. Pit, the last one there, tries to get away in the smoke, down to 3 health, but the damage has done the surprise factor, and they've got 2 down already, and it's a 3-on-5.
Yeah, Spike going to make its way up A long now. There is still a Cloudburst covering it, but David P and Ardis ready to take it. Ardis will find the headshot over default. Safe now, going to try and flash out, but doesn't peek it. I like David P playing anti-flash there and expecting the second, but he will find Safe in sewer regardless.
Nope. There you go. Saved by Ardis. And this will be the round, I feel. Aaron. Yeah. Gonna have to go huge here with the neural theft already showing his position, so just gonna go for the re-peek. They know where you are, mate. Still not landing it. Spike only just gone down as well, so it was a little delayed with the action on site, but Ardis gets himself a 4K. Big play from the big man. Especially after losing the 2 early. They don't lose any more on site.
No, really good stuff again. G2 just waiting out the utility really, really well from Bonk there, not giving away any unnecessary kills. Shout out to Ardis and Pat, by the way. They're not on the Sage and they're literally farming assists, and that's all off of recon bolts, damage, and obviously the paranoia from him. So you can see how well G2 are synergizing to make use of their utility. Absolutely love to see that.
They've triple stacked over at A site, expecting a big hit there, and left double doors exposed, left B effectively exposed, and Yassine's going to get caught out. The Cloudburst won't pop quick enough, and Ardis finds him. So quick aggression in there. Bonkar coming in with the Owl Drone to try and get the cross damage down, looking for someone up on high, expecting Mixwell to be up there. Ziz was found though, and that was all the way over, so it does mean that they are pinned from one position. Yeah, they're going to go for the save here and back away from this one. Bonkar just buying the time.
Yeah, obviously a couple of weapons to worry about. Pat will actually find Aaron over in A-Link there. That's I mean, I'm feeling like that's going to be a big loss, because sometimes, you know, the way the economy works, if somebody stays on light armor or doesn't rebuy up any armor, can usually get a Bulldog or an extra AR out of it. But now that they're looking at being down 3 weapons, I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do here.
The big problem, of course, is that G2 have managed to finally settle their economy. Mixwell going down to the Spike. Don't know what he was carrying, whether I can only assume he wasn't on a big weapon, but as I say, Pit 7.6k now. Their economy has finally been stabilized after the 3 rounds back to back. It does mean, of course, that the Bonk are in a tricky position, double Bulldog, and Yassine, well, I don't really know what he's going to go with here.
Yeah, like I said, the fact that they held on to the 2, I think they're just short 1, but Yassine probably going to force up with an SMG here. It doesn't look like they're going to try and capitalize off the 4-buy. A relatively default setup here, but G2 looking to go hard on C-Long here.
Safe has found Pit. That was a double door peek. Has netted them something. He can rotate through, but Mixwell has dashed onto site. Ziz is actually expecting something to come. Safe with the flash, finds himself the shot, but Pat's managed to frag onto Ziz. That was a spike. I just saw the shock dart actually landing on the planter there. So damage coming through. Another flash comes through. Ardis has stopped Safe in his tracks. Now Yassine's going to come push it through, but he's gone straight into Pat. Ardis finds the other, and now it's all down to 1. The retake was looking good for Bonk, but it's gone and it's shattered. Aaron will find 1 with his 11 hit points, and a dream is all he has left.
Yeah, that's a fantastic round from Pat, by the way. And I love the bait from Mixwell. Literally, it just uses the tailwind to get in, tucked behind default. It just runs as a bait. It's literally a ½ second distraction for Pat to throw the paranoia through, and they come and follow up on that. And that's how I mean, everybody looks at Jet as kind of this solo fragger, the duelist role. He should be running off and getting kills and stuff. But again, it's people are so worried about playing into it that, I mean, Mixwell's use there, it's literally just to get eyes away from long.
We might see Safe using to run it back up A-long here. Not too sure. He's going to tuck himself in the corner either way. Shock bolts will come through. Connects one. Yassine with the Guardian finds Pat. That was down short. As he continues to push on through, he's going to get David P down there, and David P will take him down. And now Safe, though, has got that operator work, but he's been picked off, and David gets the res in. Bonk is still sitting waiting, and he got the 4 kills so far. That makes it 5, but he goes down. Pit clears out sight, and the retake will be a problem here for the 2 remaining members of Bonk.
Yeah, Spike still can't come down A-long, though, so this is all beneficial to Bonk in the retake scenario, other than that wall going down, blocking off defensive spawn. But I think David P's heal is just about coming online in the next 5 seconds or so. So all 3 members of G2, there you go. He's back online. He gets fully healed up again. And it looks like they're actually going to go for it. Ziz baiting out the shrouded step and then sends the paranoia down towards Graffiti. But now actually comes inside. Oh, David read into it perfectly. Pit finds Aaron. Tidy clean up in the post plant from G2. And there you go. They find themselves on match point now.
Map point. We're not quite there. We've got a few more maps to go for the match point, but yeah, we're
it is match point for the
map point. Match would be the whole final. So, I don't know. It's the way the terminology across various FPSs. But anyway, I mean, it was a good try for Bonk. I mean, it was the back and forth. Basically, they were the ones that came out worse, and their economy was the one that got battered. They had to go down to that eco, and that's kind of where the turning point was, right? Now they're going to be pushing on through, so let's see if they can stop this dead in its tracks. They've got one tucked across the side. Ziz gets David. Now Yassine comes in. They've done the damage. Yassine gets another with a Blade Storm. Sitting on map point, they have managed to cut them down, and Artis, the last man standing, was popping off the Hunter's Fury from the back while the rest of his team go down. And Yassine with the spray through the smoke finds him.
Yeah, dark cover not providing any safety for Artis there. And actually, I mean, a really impressive hole considering there was a couple of Spectres on the board, a Bulldog as well. They stopped the rush very effectively there from G2. You're seeing again, just having a fantastic start to the day. He was definitely the man to watch yesterday.
Oof. Well, G2 can obviously rebuy straight back into it. They're not too worried about that. They've still got 3 rounds to play with. There's a lot of work still to go, and Pit finds Safe. Tries to go for that aggression once again, but it's answered. Done it a few too many times from short. Now Ziz caught out with the dark cover. He's going to have to back away from that one, and now they've lost control of double doors. Yassine's got Artis. He's actually gone in behind them in double doors. Oh, but Pat responds.
Actually, Spike going to make its way back through spawn here. Spycam's still over towards A-long, so that information is going to get relayed. But there's only 1 body. Well, 2 if you count the L drone, I guess. But from the shadows, and there you go, the information is going to get relayed there. But now the hit comes towards B, so G2 reacting immediately off of that. David P just going to wall himself up. Find a freebie on Ziz, and that's the entry onto B site, and Spike will go down here.
Well, they're going to try and wrap around and come from the same position. Map point going their way into a dark cover. They've got to wait for each other. They can't push one by one. Now, David's actually gone through. It's all on Pat at the moment. Aaron just sitting there. There's going to be the information play. They've got to force him down. They're trying to get a bit of wallbang down. Oh, the shot bolt doesn't quite do enough. Mixwell gets Bonkard down, and Aaron will be the last to fall. Would you believe Pat still lives as well? 13-9. The first map goes to G2, but Bonk pushed them all the way throughout that one.
They did indeed. I was actually really impressed there, and I mean, what I'm excited to see is actually it's not going to be a complete blowout.
Yeah.
Haven I mean, I've got to argue Haven is one of G2's stronger maps. I'd say Haven and Ascent is kind of their forte. But no, Bonk really impressed me, especially in terms of the round-on-round response that they have. I mean, their thrifty round executions looked really confident. And again, that was the one thing I kind of highlighted yesterday in a couple of scenarios, was something I felt they were lacking against NIP. So really good stuff so far.
Was to be hypercritical, I'd look at the final round on attack for Bonk. They were 6-5 up, and they really should have took that round. You know, they were up against a weak buy in G2. They had, I think, a 4-man hold on site as well. They'd managed to get the spike down, and then they just kind of cut each other off. And it was the round that Safe did the flash, and everybody basically just lost those aim duels. Everybody just lost the round. So very interesting. Cracking game, though, overall. Hopefully, it will carry on through. Don't forget, get yourself involved on the Twitter as well. You can see the link below at Mandatory GG. Follow and the tournament by using hashtag Mandatory Cup. Obviously, follow all the action and the highlights as well from this matchup, because there's going to be quite a few coming out. Mike, what do we look at? What do we look at from Bonk? They're going to be going into the break. We're moving on to Ascent. It's their map choice, I believe.
No, G2.
Sorry, G2's map choice, but Bonk did it well on Ascent yesterday. In fact, they've done well on Ascent the last couple of days. I wouldn't say it's their map by any stretch of the imagination, and I would say they still had that slow play issue, but it kind of worked in their favor on Haven here.
I mean, it's like I just said, switching it up round on round has been kind of the key to cracking G2 here on Haven, and I hope that they try and I guess embrace that a bit more on Ascent. There was a couple of times where you know they were doing it on the thrifty, on the save rounds, as well as on the buy rounds. They were just kind of all out surprising. And again, sometimes with the way G2 plays, you gamble on a site and they're doing this defensive execute elsewhere, you're going to get in for free. It's just one entry you need. So if they can keep manipulating that and finding that opening, I absolutely expect Bonk can put up just as strong a performance on Ascent, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll see how the aim duels work, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're moving on to the second map on this best of 5 between G2 and Bonk. See you in a minute.